Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. This quote was first published in 1946 on the book Man's Search for Meaning, relating the experiences of Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl while under a Nazi concentration camp. Stripped from all his belongings, separated from his family, and being tortured and humiliated on a regular basis, it would be more than understandable to be upset, to be angry, to be frustrated, and to wish for things to be different. As a matter of fact, that will probably be the most acceptable thing to do. After all, what did him and all the other prisoners do to deserve such fate? But for him, it was different, because none of those things Victor did. At one of his lowest moments, when life seemed to be giving up on him, Victor came to this conclusion. That is, that we may not be able to control all outside events, and even some emotions that are right inside of us are outside our control. However, what we always have and always will have control over is the way we choose to react to them. So, going back to the painting, there is a quote that, for me, fits perfectly with it. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. And even if that wasn't the original meaning behind the Michelangelo's painting, I still believe it fits it like a glove. The way it shows movement so perfectly, a touch bound to happen, but still not yet completed. Take this situation for example. Imagine you are at work or school and someone deliberately tries to piss you off. If it ever happened to you, then you probably know how frustrating it can be to deal with the situation. Maybe you start feeling frustrated, upset, angry, sad, or, whatever it may be. For the most part, you had no control of what the person did to you, nor over the way you felt immediately after. It just happened. However, you always have the choice on how you act based on those factors, don't you? Because outside factors may have an impact on how we feel, but they will never be the determining factor on how we act moving forward. That is all on us. And of course, you may have less options to choose from than other people. For example, someone with a massive fortune will have more options to pick from, whether that is bigger houses to buy, faster cars to ride, or more expensive trips to take. However, that does not mean they have more freedom than you. It just means they have more variety. And true freedom, for me, lies inside our own mind. Because even with all the variety and options in the world, you can still be in a prison of your own making. Whether that is addiction, depression, anxiety, fear, or everything in between, you are not free while trapped by those. Because what all of those things do is stop you from exerting your true freedom, from going for what you truly believe in. Like Mark Manson eloquently put it, variety is not freedom. Variety is just different permutations of the same meaningless shit. More stuff doesn't make us freer. It imprisons us with anxiety over whether we chose or did the best thing. More stuff causes us to become more prone to treating ourselves and others as means rather than ends. It makes us more dependent on the endless cycles of hope. If the pursuit of happiness pulls us all back into childishness, then fake freedom conspires to keep us there. Because freedom is not having more brands of cereal to choose from, or more beach vacations to take selfies on, or more satellite channels to fall asleep to. That is variety. And in a vacuum, variety is meaningless. If you are trapped by insecurity, stymied by doubt, and hamstrung by intolerance, you can have all the variety in the world, but you are not free. So maybe a better goal to strive for, instead of having all the luxuries we so desire, is to release ourselves from the need to get all those things in the first place. To realize that as humans, most likely, we are never going to be fully satisfied by getting the next promotion or the next car or the next house or whatever the fuck it may be. I think it is safe to assume we all, at some point in our lives, have put all of our happiness in a future achievement, got there, and then realized that wasn't it. So why don't we focus instead on exactly the opposite? On trying to want less rather than on trying to figure out how to get everything we think we want. What we are doing, essentially, by focusing so much on those external goals, is to take power away from ourselves, to reduce our own freedom. Like Seneca, the great stoic, once said, "No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to want what they don't have and to cheerfully put to good use what they do have." Because to choose anything other than that is to give our power away. It is to think that more variety is what will fulfill us, when in reality, we should be looking in the exact opposite direction. Going back to Viktor Frankl, given the situation he was in, most of us would say he had zero freedom. After all, they wouldn't even let him use his own name. However, it was not like that for him. He realized what most of society fails to understand nowadays, and that is that freedom does not lie outside ourselves, that no one but ourselves can take that freedom away, because everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you made it this far and you would like to see similar content, we do have a weekly podcast that you can check down below. Other than that, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.